Welcome to episode 4 of Ngak'chang Rinpoche and Khandro Dechen talking about the gö-kar-chang-lo'i. In this episode they explore the differences between the ordination robes of the monastic and the Ngak'phang sanghas, discuss the importance of lineage in Vajrayana, address accusations of Ngakpas being showy in their dress, and explain the phenomenon of persecution through praise. Good morning, Rinpoche and Khandro Dechen. Can you say something about the differences in the robes of the monastic and the Ngak'phang sanghas? Perhaps something also about the heterodox, less uniform nature of the Ngakpa costume.
Well, this relates to the two principles that we were discussing on a previous occasion. This is the principles of the yanas, the principle of renunciation, and the principle of transformation. So renunciation belonging to Sutra and transformation belonging to Tantra, the vehicle of Tantra. So if we go for renunciation first, this concerns the monks and nuns who, here the principle of renunciation is renouncing attachment to the world, the phenomena of the world. And so they retreat from the world and go and live in a monastery or a nunnery. They're also renouncing attachment to self and self-identity and individuality. So this is why monks and nuns all wear the same costume. And they shave their head because hair represents impurity, and they're renouncing the impurity that is symbolized by the hair in this vehicle. And also, if you shave your head, you have no chance of using your hair to create that individuality, to adorn yourself with individuality, so everybody looks the same. Because if you shave your head, it has a massive effect on your appearance in terms of your individuality.
See, my head is becoming increasingly pure over the last 20 years. Yeah.
So this explains the costume, the renunciate costume of the monks and nuns. But then with the Ngak'phang Sangha, their ordination is based in Tantrayana, the vehicle of Tantra. And here the principle is transformation. So here we're working with the fact that impurity doesn't have to be cut off or renounced. Impurity is transformed. So this explains why the Ngak'phang Sangha have uncut hair. They don't remove the hair because it's not a problem. In fact, the hair is a symbol of the intimate connection with the yidams, the meditational deities, which is the speciality of Tantra, awareness, spell, mantra, and the methods of practice of the yidam. So the hair is actually seen as either the abode of the yidam, or the fact that the hair is actually the yidam, the meditational deity, or another symbolic view is that it is the male and female realized principle of the power and the Khandro. So there are various views of what the hair symbolizes. So in this case, to cut your hair would be damaging because you would be destroying your method of practice, and you would be destroying realized beings by cutting your hair. So the principle there is to look after your hair, not to shave it off. The heterodox nature of the costume, the foundation of Tantra is emptiness. So here there is some understanding then we're moving from emptiness, the base, into form. So there is no problem then with multiplicity and variety and variegation. So this explains somewhat why the Ngakpa costume is not such a uniform. It has such a variety of styles and traditions based on lineage, based on school, because the Ngakpa tradition goes throughout the schools apart from the Gaelic school.
What's interesting here in terms of heterodoxy, if you look at the cardigan that Khandro Dechen is wearing, this is a Western cardigan. It's not part of a robe. The reason she's wearing it, it was given to her by Khyungchen Aro Rinpoche. This is the cardigan he used to wear. So there are items of clothing that come to be important because of who gave it to you. So it's not that Khandro Dechen has chosen to wear a Western cardigan with her robes. It was because it was given by Khyungchen Aro Rinpoche. And so it's that level of meaning that is also important.
This seems to affirm what you were saying earlier about it being the relationship with the Lama that's important in Vajrayana, not any kind of hierarchy. But the Lama is still part of a lineage.
With our students, they've always been able to go to Khyungchen Aro Rinpoche while he was alive, and now to Jomo Sampel. And that whole lineage is something that everyone respects and reveres, and one is accountable to it. It's not that the Lama is a free agent. And even though now Jomo Sampel Rinpoche is the last of our lamas, we now have the incarnations of Düd'jom Rinpoche, the Tibetan incarnation and the Bhutanese incarnation, and now we relate to them. And it's really yet to be established what the nature of that relationship will be. They both promised to come to Dralajong, and so that continues. And so the Lama is not an isolated person who invents arbitrary rules or whatever, but the students of any Lama look to their own Lama first and are inspired by the lineage and by the teachers of the Lama.
So in Vajrayana we have lineage rather than hierarchy or institution.
I mean, for example, Lama Baché Dorje has spent a lot of time with Khyungchen Aro Rinpoche. He used to go over to see him every year, and they had a really very close relationship. And now there are many students who have a close relationship with his Sangyum, with Jomo Sampel Dechen Rinpoche, and some go out to see her every year. And so this relationship is extremely important with the whole lineage and with associates. I mean, we have a great deal of association with the Düd'jom Lamas, and so as well as having our grandmother, we also have uncles and aunts. In that sense, it's a whole family, so that even though we don't teach Düd'jom, we are highly associated with that lineage and with the lamas of that lineage. And so we're accountable to them and what their preferences are, how they wish, to steer things. So, that would be the case for any Lama. But costume.
Yes, if I can say a little bit more about the costume. There is this pervasive idea, which has existed for centuries, about the idea that Ngakpas and Ngakmas are very showy. In terms of if you wear the white skirt, then it's deemed that you are showing off in terms of realization. It's very interesting that in the 17th century, a reincarnate Lama, Yolmo Tenzin Norbu, got so fed up with this idea. He was originally a monk who then became a Ngakpa later on, in his 20s, having been a monk at first. And he got so fed up with the idea of being accused of showing off by wearing the accoutrements, the white robes of the Ngakpa, that he posed the question, how is it that monks can wear the red robe and shave their head if they've not attained the realization of Shakyamuni Buddha? Which is very, interesting that this has come from the 17th century, and so this view has come down through the ages. And we are accused of being a very showy tradition because we wear the robes as we are instructed to. In actual fact, some of the Ngak'phang Sangha will say they don't wear the robes because they feel uncomfortable with the comments that they will get from other people for showing off, wearing your realization on your sleeve almost. And we're accused of the same, but we actually, as a Sangha, we have no choice about what we wear, because for us it's a matter of religious commitment, religious doctrine, that we carry out the instruction of our root lamas. And Khyungchen Aro Lingma instructed all of our Sangha to wear the white skirt, to wear the correct apparel for the Ngakpa Sangha, in order to show people that it is possible, or to show the existence of this path. And he's always been very strong in wearing the correct apparel for the Ngakpa Sangha. And also the Dalai Lama has been quite strong. In 2009, he instructed, when he was in Ladakh, both monks and nuns to wear the correct costume and to abide by their vows, and also the Ngak'phang Sangha to wear the correct costume and abide by their tradition and vows in Tantra. So for us, there is no choice. We have to do it, regardless of what people say.
And is that anyone in the Sangha that wears the robes, or is that after ordination?
Yes, these are the ordained members of the Sangha. For our apprentices, they wear a shawl, just to show that they are... it's a practice shawl, so they adopt and wear the shawl when they practice.
You see, there are two ways to persecute a group of people. One is obvious. You persecute them. Everyone can see that. You diminish them, you ridicule them, all those things are well understood. What is more subversive is to praise them. You make the costume so illustrious that no one's allowed to wear it. And this is one of the things that's happened. Because the gö-kar-chang-lo'i were practicing outside the monasteries, the best thing to do was to stop them wearing their costumes so no one would recognize them. If everyone had to wear simply lay clothes and dress down, they wouldn't be recognized, no one would go to them as spiritual teachers. And this has persisted for 1,000 years until there is this ethos of, if you wear the proper costume, you're boasting, you're bragging, which is not the case at all. If this was the case, if by wearing a white skirt I was saying I'm Mr. Wonderful, then why should I get my own students to wear it? I would be the only one wearing it if it was a matter of prestige, and I wanted prestige, if that's what I was trying to say. Evidently, everyone who takes ordination wears the clothes of the ordination, just as a monk or nun wear their clothes of ordination. That is all they are. They are nothing more than that. It was Düd'jom Rinpoche who first specified what I would wear. I didn't even ask for ordination. Düd'jom Rinpoche just gave it to me and told me that I should be wearing this, and he specified the shamtab, the tonga, the shawl, he specified everything. He wrote it down in a letter for the tailor, because the tailor couldn't speak any English. This was back in 1971. So there was a letter to the tailor as to what to make and what fabric to buy. I had to go off into Kathmandu because there wasn't a fabric shop in Bodh at the time. And I had to buy the fabric, take it back to Bodh, give it to the tailor. It was made. So if anybody thinks that one shouldn't be wearing it, they don't have an argument with us, they have an argument with Düd'jom Rinpoche. And I don't think there are many Nyingmas who would want to have an argument with Düd'jom Rinpoche, even though he's no longer with us. No one would do that. He was the most respected Lama of the last 2 centuries. And also, he didn't give me the robes to wear because I had realization of some kind. I was just some idiot who arrived from England. I may have been an idiot who was highly enthusiastic about the lineage, but I had no special qualities. So they weren't given to me as a mark of respect, they were given as a mark of commitment and something to help me maintain my practice. That's what they were, and that's how they're given now. So one simply has to look at that, and there suddenly is no question anymore, unless you wish to have an argument about what Düd'jom Rinpoche said, about what Kunzang Dorje Rinpoche said, or Chhi'mèd Rinpoche, or one of a dozen lamas who've all said the same thing. I think that about wraps it up, doesn't it, for that? I mean, you know, if anyone's got an argument, well, good luck to you.